Welcome to the Success Showcase. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin from the Modern Observer Group. And with me, as always, is Chip Januszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how you doing today?
I am doing great. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing fantastic. And
Man, we're July. Crazy.
yeah, as we record this, there is a bizarre heat wave going on around the world. England today hit a record 111 degrees. We've got rain here in Connecticut. There's high humidity all around the U.S. So,
Yeah.
people are dealing with all of that.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to 6-7 days of 90-degree weather here too after today.
Yep. So welcome to the dog days of summer.
There you go.
So today we're going to talk about putting together a personal growth plan. And we've discussed this on a couple of previous podcasts. But today we're going to talk about taking a holistic look at your personal growth. And I've spoken to a number of people, and a lot of folks have had trouble putting together a plan because they'll put one together and they'll move forward, but then something that they're not working on comes up and sort of hits them in the behind and knocks them off course. So what we're going to talk about today is taking a holistic look at your personal growth. And one of the things that I came up with that I think works, at least for me, is separating your personal growth plan to make sure it takes care of three different areas. And those areas are work, home, and self. And when you categorize it that way, it sort of helps you organize things a little better so that you're not taken by surprise by something you're not working on.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense because, I mean, obviously, personal development plan, personal growth plan, it has to encompass all those areas. I mean, some people might go straight to the work thing because that's where you're making all the money. Some people may go to the home plan because of the family and so on and so forth. And then the self, a lot of people don't even look at that much. And that's really so important to work on your mind as far as personal development work. And if you have a personal growth plan, you should be reading and developing ways to make that better. And then obviously your health is very, very important, keeping yourself physically fit. And then we talked a little bit about spirit or your inner driver, your source, what really, really keeps you going deep down inside. But everybody's got to find that passion and purpose that really gets them going. And, the great way to do that is a lot of self-analysis up front. And, we both talked about teaching this, but write down all of the things that you're good at doing, all the things that you like to do, things that you don't like to do, things that you're interested in, and so on and so forth. And by the way, this is a good thing to share with spouses or do this with your children and so on and so forth, because this will really help direct you towards what you think you are meant to do. And once you put all these things together and you try to figure out what your passion and purpose are, this will go a long way in doing that, because everybody has a passion or a purpose to somehow help out mankind or give back in some way. And the best way that you can do that is really play to your strengths and things that you like to do. And that when you put that together and you make a career out of that, it's really not work. So it's going to help you out a lot.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I found that people find frustrating is that they don't feel that they're making progress. And one of the reasons, in fact, the main reason that they don't feel they're making progress is because they don't start off by taking a baseline. If you don't know where you are, you're not going to know when you get where you're going. So before you start putting together your plan and figuring out where you want to end up, you need to take some time to figure out where you are. And in work, that's about what is your job? What's your salary? What are your benefits? Are you doing what you want to be doing? Home, it's the same. What's the status of your home? Is everything going well? Is everything organized? Nobody should ever answer yes to "I'm already organized." We know 99% of the folks are lying when they say yes, absolutely everything's perfectly organized. For self, your mind, like, what's your stress level? For your body, what's your weight, your blood pressure? I mean, the best way to get a baseline for your body is actually go get a checkup and see where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And, work yourself into a daily routine. I mean, we've talked about like the miracle morning, starting every day with a positive morning routine. And if you can get out of bed every morning and take a quick walk or just do just 10 minutes of exercise, that sets your mindset the right way for the rest of the day. And it could be just as little as that. And as far as really exercising your mind, read for 10 minutes or a half an hour a day to get yourself going there. And I recommend doing a lot of this first thing in the morning. It's okay to get up an extra half an hour early to really set yourself on the right track, because you're going to feel better the rest of the day for having already accomplished this.
Yeah, I think the important thing that you just touched on is small steps matter. People hear, oh, well, I have to get healthy. Well, that means I have to be on a diet. I have to exercise. I have to, do all of these things. Same thing with work and home. Oh, I've got to do everything at once. No, you don't. Take a small step. And in terms of taking care of yourself and your body, let's start you off right now. All you need to do while you're listening to this, stand up, bend over, touch your toes. And I know at least half the people out there are going, oh, I can't touch my toes. That's fine. Just get as close as you can. Doesn't matter if you can actually hit your toes. Now, tomorrow, do the same thing. If you do this for 100 days, by the end of the 100 days, you will be able to touch your toes. This is an example of how those small steps add up. You can't get a full workout in? Get up in the morning, do 2 push-ups. Tomorrow, do 3. Work your way up to 10. You don't have to be doing a full workout. Just get something in. There was a challenge not too long ago online. They wanted you to do 100 push-ups a day. I'll be honest, I can't do 100 push-ups. Not all at once. But if I do 10 in the morning, and then 10 o'clock I drop down, I do 10 more, then an hour or 2 I do 10 more, little by little, you can get to that 100 a day. You're getting the work in. It's a myth that everything has to be done at once. Fit these things into your schedule. It's the same thing with reading. Put a book on your phone, whether it's an audio book or a regular book. You're standing in line at the supermarket, listen, read a page or 2. You'd be amazed at how quickly these small steps add up.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you have a job where you're driving around a lot. I highly recommend getting an audible.com account or whatever, and you can listen to audiobooks, podcasts. There's all kinds of wonderful things you can do. And basically what you're doing is you're taking a graduate course in whatever you're interested in, and you're getting to learn about a whole lot more things. And it doesn't have to be work specific. It can be well-rounded, because obviously you're talking about exercise, but it's great to keep your mind in various areas too, to keep things going. And you talked about getting organized. And I know we've talked about your organizer before, but one of the best things for you to do, most people's to-do list is just items to tick off at work. And you don't even have it scheduled as far as when you're going to do it, maybe by day or whatever. But if you can actually plug into your organizer your daily plan, which could include exercises and everything else. And as far as talking about the home, it should also include planning vacations and time out with the kids and date night and those kind of things. But if you get it down on paper in front of you, or, in an organizer online, I mean, that's what you've designed to help people out. And in that, you can also track goals, because it's really, really important to set these, you have the major goals you talked about, but it's a step-by-step process. You have to lay out the components of how you're going to get from point A to point B. And once you have those in front of you, it's a whole lot easier than thinking about what the end result's going to be. If you just have the next step there, yes, I did this today, victory. Yes, I did this, and so on and so forth. So put it all down on paper, or put it wherever you want to put it in an organizer. With me, I'm still in the paper stage because I've been around for a long time, but that's just the way to do it.
No, you're absolutely right about using that to-do list. We're all familiar with using it for work. But the main reason that most people don't develop new habits is that before that habit is ingrained, they're not used to doing it, so they forget. When you put it in your to-do list, you see it okay, today I have to do this. Oh, yes, I've got to do it again today. Yes, I've got to do it again today. Until it's ingrained, that's a great way to remind yourself. I put lots of things in my to-do list, not just work, because honestly, if I don't put something in my to-do list, the odds are it doesn't get done. So personal things I put in the to-do list. For things I'm going to do over the weekend, things I have to do at work, things I have to do after work. When you're building a new habit, get up, you look at that to-do list. Oh, right, I have to exercise today. Oh, right, I wanted to read a little bit today. And for most automated to-do lists on your computer, on your phone, your tablet, you can put these in as recurring tasks so that they show up on your to-do list every day. And that's the best way to build a new habit, is to make sure you're reminded each day. And there is an amazing book called Atomic Habits, and it talks about building habits on habits. So it's, let's say you want to take a multivitamin every day. Well, you get into the habit of having your breakfast. Build on that habit so that when you have your breakfast, you're also taking a multivitamin. And it's built on something that you're doing already. This way, you've got that built-in reminder. It's like, oh, yes, I have to take a vitamin. What reminded you? You're making breakfast. So you can build helpful habit trees almost, where one habit leads into the next to get you going on your day.
Yeah, and if you have a doc, if you're like me and you like to have things on paper, it's really easy to just write a routine down on paper every day and take a look at it. And if you are into working out of your home and having a home office and so on and so forth, visualization is a big part of things. I mean, I surround myself and make my work atmosphere very happy by having a lot of family pictures there on my calendars. But you can also have that to-do list there that just reminds you, exercise, read, and personal development, 1, 2, 3 every single day, something like that. And if that's right in front of you, it will become habit very, very quickly. I mean, all you got to do is do it for like 2-3 weeks, and it's just going to be there. And once you get that going, it's just a great way to get off. And if you accomplish, again, a few things right off the bat, first thing every morning, it provides fuel for accomplishing a lot of things on that list the rest of the day. But if it's in front of you, that's the best way to do it.
Absolutely. You have to have your to-do list somewhere where you're actually going to look at it. You know, putting it on a legal pad and tossing the legal pad in a drawer doesn't do you any good unless that's a drawer you open every day and it's right on top. Put it somewhere where you know you're going to see it. I have a to-do list that appears on my phone, my tablet, and my computer. And as soon as I turn on my computer, that launches. You want to have it on paper? Do you grab breakfast out of the refrigerator every day? Put it right on the refrigerator so you see it when you go there. It has to be in front of you, somewhere where you can't ignore it.
No, and one of the things to do, I mean, you know that I do a lot of things using Excel spreadsheets, including my daily planner and my to-do list. And all I have is I have the next 6 weeks of my calendar, hour by hour, day by day, with my to-do list there. Every single day, I'm carrying that around with me. So if something new comes up, I just write it down in there so I can put it into my big BlackBerry thing, which is my calendar for the whole year later on. But I also have my to-do list in my pocket. And every single day, got a pen there. If something comes up, just write it on the list, adjust it. And that's a really, really easy manual system for those of you who don't want to use all this technology out there to do something. Just carry a sheet of paper around, have the to-do list on that, and add to it, and cross the stuff off when you're done, which is a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And in fact, if you want to use pen and paper and you're going to carry it around, I highly recommend getting a journalist's notebook. And they're available at every office supply store. But what a journalist's notebook is it's shaped a little differently. It's a notepad, but rather than a rectangular pad that everybody used to, it's taller and thinner. Why is it shaped like that? Because it fits in your pocket. You can put it in your back pocket. You can put it in a suit jacket pocket. That's the whole reason it's shaped like that, because a journalist needed to have their pad with them at all times. So they actually came up with the shape that fit in their pocket. You can still get these, even though most journalists use tape recorders now, but if you want to use a pad, this is a great way to make sure you're always carrying it around.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other nice thing about having everything written down or on your phone or in your computer and so on and so forth is you're going to sleep a lot easier at night, because you're not going to be thinking about, oh, what do I have to do tomorrow? If you get yourself organized so that it's right there and you have confidence that it's there in front of you, that allows you to go to bed feeling comfortable about your accomplishments during the day instead of worrying about what you're going to be doing tomorrow, which is so, so important, because sleep is a big part of this thing too, as far as bodies and health.
Yes, sleep is so important. Forget about the people telling you, oh, I'll sleep when I'm dead. The fact of the matter is, those people actually die sooner than people that sleep well. Sleep is very important. It cements your memories in place. So if you feel you're getting forgetful, chances are you're not getting a good night's sleep. It's when your body does most of its healing. So if you want to stay healthy, you need to get a good night's sleep. It's very important. It's not just wasted time. Your mind is still active. Your body is still active, taking care of itself while you sleep.
Absolutely. So getting back to putting everything together, it's really, really important for you to be working on yourself as far as what you are looking to do in life. What's your passion and purpose? What gets you out of bed every day that really gets you excited? And trying to spin what you're doing during the day, including your career, into that. And obviously, if you have a great family life going on, that's so, so important too. And it's kind of like prioritizing these things, but making sure that everything is addressed there. And if you can put all those things together, working on yourself, again, if you are in a family, do this with your wife, do this with your kids, plan together. I know you do this every single year as far as with your family.
Yep.
And that stuff, that's one of your visuals on the refrigerator. But the more you do it together and realize that, we are social people and we are meant to be doing things together and helping each other out, the better off you're going to be. Those of you who are on networks and go out and network for business, network with people to do other things too. Plan some events on the side, get involved in some organizations that are philanthropic or do things for various different reasons. But it's really, really so important to have a social element to this too, family and also outside.
Absolutely. I can tell you firsthand, just a few weeks ago, I had a dinner where it was a couple of folks that work on our sister podcast, Lighting the Candle. We went out to celebrate the 100th episode. We did it a little late. We're, well past that now. But I have to tell you, there was no work involved. It was just people talking and eating and telling stories. And by the end of the evening, I haven't been that relaxed in God knows how long. And you need this. There's a lot of talk about, oh, you have to get in touch with yourself, go out into nature. If that works for you, that's great. For me, that doesn't really work. Nature doesn't calm me. This, spending time with good people, just talking and telling stories and telling jokes, this relaxed me. So you have to find what relaxes you. And don't worry if it's not the same thing as all the books tell you you should. The books are written from a single point of view. Your point of view may vary. You have to do what works for you. And again, that's why it's so important to take this holistic view, because what's going on in your work life, what's going on in your family life, and what's going on with yourself, it's all tied in. If you're in a job that you can't stand, and most of us have been there at one time or another, I have very often described my last corporate job before I started my own business as I was losing a little bit of my soul every day going into this job. Figure out where it is you want to be. It's the old interview question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, don't worry about where you see yourself in 5 years. Figure out where you want to be, whether or not it's realistic, and look at where you are and figure out what you need to do to get from point A to point B. Is your dream job, something that requires a professional certification that you don't have? Start going after it. Learn more, read up on what's going on. That way, you're not just improving your mind, you're also improving your work. And let's face it, if you're happier at work, the people around you at home are going to be happier too, because you're going to exude that. So it's all tied in. Your health, your mental well-being. You need to take care of all of it. And that sounds overwhelming, which is why we keep saying, take small steps.
Yes, you hear me talking all the time about just present moment. And the most important thing is to guide every present moment with positivity, because every new present moment is an opportunity to do something good. And you realize that life is always going to have its ups and downs. But if you have that positive mindset to begin with, realizing that that person in the mirror is a pretty darn awesome person that can accomplish things. And most importantly, what you talked about as far as that night out with your friends, celebrating your accomplishments, celebrate what you're doing together, and so on and so forth. I mean, when you're done with just completing one task towards the big goal, celebrate yourself, give yourself a pat on the back. It's okay to like yourself. The bottom line is you'll know if you're being arrogant or if you're just being genuine from your inside self, your inner self, which is what's pushing all this stuff at the beginning. So it's so important to develop and maintain that positive mindset, which there's tools to do that. One of the easiest ways to maintain that is to just develop a daily practice of gratitude. Write down things that you're grateful for. Start every day in the morning thinking about it, reading it at night before you go to bed. And then I always talk about the throwouts, throwing out our automatic bad habits like criticizing, complaining, and judging and all that other kind of stuff, where nobody likes to be the victim, but we automatically do that just because we know supposedly that we're unworthy of other things or that we don't have the stuff that other people do. Think about what you do have. Put that down in your gratitude journal. Concentrate on that next time you feel like judging somebody.
Absolutely. I mean, most of our audience is in the United States, and everybody in the United States is in the top 1% of the global community. So when you're looking at other people going, oh, well, they're rich, I don't have that, it's not fair. It's like, well, in other countries, they're looking at what you have and going, my God, they have so much. Be grateful for that.
And you know what? A lot of those people are a lot happier than we are over here because they concentrate on the important things, which is exactly what we're talking about. Yourself, your home, the work comes in there too, but they have their priorities straight and what's important is straight. And they're so much more together as families, as communities, and so on and so forth as a result of it.
Absolutely. And, we're getting close to the end of our time, but before we do, I want to talk about one other topic, and that's burnout. Burnout is something that is almost an epidemic. And what most people don't realize is that burnout is caused, it's almost entirely self inflicted. And it's because the reality of a situation doesn't meet your expectation. Now, why do I bring this up when I'm talking about putting together a personal growth plan? Because that plan is actually a cure for burnout. Because when your reality does not meet your expectation, that growth plan is about how you get to your expectation. So if you have a plan for getting where you want to be, even though you're not there now, that helps relieve burnout. And it also helps avoid it because you're accepting, oh, okay, this is not the reality I wanted, but this is the reality that's here. And I accept that, and I'm putting together a plan to get where I want to be. As you know, as Michael Jackson said, you have to start with the man in the mirror. If you want to change the world, you start by changing yourself. I know Gandhi had a quote like this, and I'm butchering it badly. So it's
be the change that you want to see in the world.
Thank you. Yes. So yeah, start with yourself. And just the act of starting, accepting that this is not the reality as you want it, but you're working to create the reality you want it to be. That's a very calming idea because okay, it's a process and you're on your way. When you do that, you're more relaxed, you're calmer, and that actually helps other people be calmer because when you're burnt out, you exude stress. And when you exude stress, it's contagious. And the same way when other people are burnt out, if you're on your path and you know what that looks like, you can avoid catching their stress. And actually, you can bring them down and tell them, look, just put together a plan, take a deep breath, and move forward. Yes, reality is not what we expected, but burnout is caused when you refuse to change yourself to meet that reality. Reality is not going to change to meet your expectations. You have to make the effort. And that's how you avoid and escape from burnout. All right, so we're just about at the end of our time. So, Chip, what do you think is the big takeaway for today?
Obviously, if we're talking about a plan, the first thing is to get organized. So your best tool is your organizer, regardless of whether it's an electronic form or on a sheet of paper. And it's so important to do that and stick to it and make sure, again, that elements are not just for work, but for your home life and for yourself. All of those things have to be there. Number two, realize that every moment is a new opportunity to do something positive. So feed everything with your positive attitude. Develop your practice of gratitude to keep yourself focused to avoid the burnout things. Next time you're looking at something that's bad, there's a whole lot more things that are good out there than are bad if you only look at them and emphasize those instead of the negatives. And then just stay the course. Celebrate every time you are achieving the smallest thing and move ahead, because that's like fuel to just get yourself going. So go out there and have fun, enjoy.
Absolutely. I think for me, the big takeaways are start with a baseline. Know where you are so you can figure out how you're going to get where you're going. And over the weekend, I was talking with a professional organizer, and she said something that stuck with me. She said, if everything is special, then nothing is special. Be prepared to let things go, whether that's clutter in your house, emotional baggage. Be prepared to move forward and don't let your baggage drag you down. And you can do that by maintaining that positive attitude. And it actually works as a spiral. The more positive you are, the more negativity you let go, the easier it is to be positive. So put the plan together, know that you can do it, and be willing to change. You've been listening to the Success Showcase. You can catch us every week at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and wherever you find podcasts. We'll see you next time.